Parade Marshal Kathy McDonald's got him in motion. Number 1, Fortune Quest, owned by David Ehrenberg, driven by Charles Neff. 2, Confession, owned by Darrell Lewis and driver Mark Winters. 3, You Dreamer, owned by Nell Blue and Ryan Holton. 4, Tin Man DJ, owned by John LeGros and Samuel Brown, driven tonight by Jody ESSIG. 5, Gibby's Boy, owned by Gertrude Morgan. Jack Morgan will be in the bike. 6, Highly Rated, owned by Lisa Fuller, and a late driver change to Jeff Fout. Jeff Fout drives. 7, RACY Chairman, owned by Pamela Wengerd and Robert Timmons with David Myers. 8, Keen Falcon, owned by Charles Meyer and the Hawkman. 9, Raven Elmer, owned by Walter Kaplinger with Jeff Smith. The 10, Lakewater Bird, is owned by Eldon Spearman. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Raven Elmer on the far outside takes the lead. Highly Rated between horses. Followed by Confession, ranging up on the outside. RACY Chairman, they're down the backstretch. Fortune Quest moves in to be 5th toward the rail. You Dreamer is 6th. The 10 comes out of the second tier. Lakewater Bird. After that, it's Tin Man DJ. Followed by Gibby's Boy, and the trailer is Keen Falcon. Moving to the opening quarter-mile pole, driving away on top, it's Raven Elmer in 28-1. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands, and Raven Elmer has got the lead. Raven Elmer leads by 2. Highly Rated as close second, gap of 3, Confession third. Next in line, Fortune Quest 4th. Here comes Tin Man DJ to the outside. RACY Chairman got locked in along the rail. Lakewater Bird flying high on the outside. You Dreamer is now 8th. Starting up on the outside, Gibby's Boy 9th. At the end, it's Keen Falcon. They're at the half in 59. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch, heading to 3/4. Raven Elmer trying to make every pole when anyone continues to lead the way. Confession drives up on the outside. Along the rail, Highly Rated skims the pylons in 3rd. Fortune Quest in 4th. Making little headway, Tin Man DJ up on the outside. RACY Chairman trying to fight through along the rail. Moving by 3/4, Confession on the outside of Raven Elmer. Their heads apart in 128-1 around the far turn. Confession trying to alter things, leads the way. Confession leads by 2. Raven Elmer gives way second. Fouled up on the outside by Highly Rated and Fortune Quest. They're into the stretch. Looks like the night for Confession. Confession on top by 2. Raven Elmer fighting back in second. Highly Rated third. Deep stretch. Confession all in is going to hold. Here's Confession, 3-year-old bay gelding by Noble and Sam out of True Confession. Owned by trainer Darrell Lewis and driver Mark Winters of Wilmington and Sabina, Ohio. Covering the mile here in a lifetime best, 158-3 to Confession, the unofficial winner. To drive number 8, Stephanie's Destiny. And post time is 14 minutes away at 7:55. 1 Pocket Light, owned by Horner Racing Stable and Robert Kirk and Jody ESSIG. 2 Rembrandt's Jessica, owned by James Chaliff and Michael Van Autreve. Rangeman is David Miller. 3 Scoreboard PATTI, owned by Milton Wilkinson, Jim Shelton, the rangeman. 4 BLITZEN Wars, owned by Susan Fote with Darren Mauser aboard. 5 is CONNIAUT, owned by Robert Hagneri, driven by Bob Harper. 6 Brian's Little Girl, leased by Wesley Davis and David Myers. 7 is Pure Pulaski, owned by Earl Ricks and Dave Hawk. 8 Stephanie's Destiny, owned by Hal Block, Larry Samuels, and Sheldon Sinai, with a driver change to Del S. Miller. 9 Sharp Looking Filly, owned by C. Tim Mensch and Jeff Fout. 10 M&W, owned by Joseph Schwartz and James Sparks. Brad Hanners will be in the sulky. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Pocket Light takes the lead. Brian's Little Girl, middle of the racetrack. Quickly from out of the second tier, M&W is into 3rd. Rembrandt's Jessica back to 4th. Quickly flying up on the far outside. Sharp Looking Filly from 5th. Around the top turn, Scoreboard, PATTI, BLITZEN, Wars, CONNIAUT, CONNIE. Pure Pulaski and Stephanie's Destiny is 10th. Pretty good speed duel in progress here to the quarter-mile pole. David Myers with his head down. Opens up here with Brian's Little Girl, 28-4. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands, and Brian's Little Girl cuts this one out. Pocket Light shining brightly in there second. Past the stands, the early lever, sharp-looking filly. Here's Rembrandt's Jessica striding up on the outside. BLITZEN Wars is tipped and rolled. 3 wide sweep for Pure Pulaski. Scoreboard, PATTI got caught in the center as they make their way through the paddock turn. After that, Emma W. is 8th. CONNIAUT Connie is 9th. Stephanie's Destiny 10th on the outside. 59-1, they're down the back stretch. Brian's Little Girl bouncing along continues to lead the way. Pocket Light is second by a head. Driving up on the outside, Rembrandt's Jessica on the move to third. BLITZEN Wars off the rail, set sail from fourth. Followed by Pure Pulaski in fifth. Stopping to a walk, sharp-looking filly. In between horses, Scoreboard, PATTI. Driving up on the far outside, Stephanie's Destiny, Emma W. and CONNIAUT Connie. Moving by 3/4 and 128. Field moves to the head of the stretch. Later by ahead, Brian's Little Girl. Rembrandt's Jessica on the outside is going to try to chase the pace setter down. Inside the final 16th. Rembrandt's Jessica now gets the lead. Rembrandt's Jessica, Brian's Little Girl, and Pocket Light. Hard-earned victory. Rembrandt's Jessica to the wire. Six-year-old brown mare by Ideal Society out of Lottie's Lady, owned by James Chaliff and Michael Van Autreve of Dayton, trained by Carroll Bray. Driven tonight by David Miller, pacing the mountain 157-4 and a lifetime best. Number 2, Rembrandt's Jessica, the unofficial winner. Daily double, $15.60. Windows open on the third. Scratch a Ranch Pace, 1 Clearwater Clint, owned by Dwight Clark, Clement Rothell, along with the driver, Phil Cunningham. 2 is Kelly Blue, owned by Phil Baldaff and David Hawk. 3, Propitious Lad, owned by Fred Schroeder and David Miller. 4, Ideal Cam, owned by Steve Sharp. Dallas Miller will be aboard. 5, Wholesale Merchant, leased by James Sparks and the bike Bob Harper. 6, Ram Spirit, owned by Elaine Bray and Darren Mauser. 7, Around Town, owned by Bob Perry with Brad Hanners. 8 and 9, both have been scratched. Sick, 10, Sit and Bull. Alan Swain owns. Jeff Fout will bring him out of post 10. Moving through the clubhouse turn. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Propitious Lad almost beats the gate. In fact, he was almost in John Bett's lap when they said go. Now darts to the front. Clearwater Clint along the rail. A little bit rough on the outside. Kelly Blue, they're on their way to the quarter-mile pole. Out of the second tier, Sittin' Bull is fourth. Midway on the turn, Ideal Cam fifth. Followed by Wholesale Merchant in sixth. Racing seventh, Ram Spirit, and Around Town is the trailer. They're absolutely flying here by the opening quarter in 27 flat. Propitious Lad is being sent and sent hard. Propitious Lad under a double purple. Baby Nelson whacks this one out. Propitious Lad, Kelly Blue second. Clearwater Clint with the first flight to third. Around the clubhouse turn, Sittin' Bull fourth. Ram Spirit comes to the outside. Ideal Cam got caught in. Here's Around Town driving up on the outside, and Wholesale Merchant rides the tailgate. They're at the half-mile pole. Still in command, Propitious Lad by a length. Moving up on the outside, Ram Spirit and Around Town, 57-4. Down the back stretch, they roll to the three-quarter pole. Propitious Lad trying to make every pole winning one, leads the way. Kelly Blue is second by a nose. Moving up on the outside, Ram Spirit third, Clearwater Clint fourth, Around Town stalking in fifth. Driving up on the outside, Wholesale Merchant, nowhere to go, Sittin' Bull, and at the end it's Ideal Cam. Propitious Lad, 3 and a nickel's trying to reach. Moving by three-quarters in 126-4. Moving around the far turn, Propitious Lad, Ram Spirit right alongside in second. Kelly Blue is into third, followed up on the outside by Clearwater Clint fourth. Off the turn in the stretch, they're on their way home, and the purple and white is all over Propitious Lad. Propitious Lad, Ram Spirit, far outside, Kelly Blue. We got a ding-dong battle going. Propitious Lad and Kelly Blue, too wide, and who do you like? $8.34. Here comes Dave Hawk and Kelly Blue. 6-year-old bay gutting by Kelly Lobel out of Cha-Cha. Owned in Akron by Philip Baldoff. Trained by Lloyd Hawk, given a well-judged drive by David Hawk. Covering them out in a lifetime best equaling 156 and 3. Number 2, Kelly Blue, the winner of tonight's third race. Mrs. Laverne Hill, widow of Charlie Hill, in the winner's circle for the trophy presentation, along with some members from the Buckeye Ranch and the entire golf event here this evening. On hand to meet and greet Dave Hawk and Kelly Blue for tonight's third race. Post time 14 minutes away. A las 8:34, post time is 8:34. Here comes the field for tonight's fourth race. First leg of the early pick 3. It's for trotters in a field of 8. Number 1, What a Message, owned by Glenn Brandon, driven by Jody ESSIG. 2, Hilltopper's Grace, owned by John F. and John J. Foster and Dave Hawk. 3, Tug Button, owned by Donna and Dick Wills, driven by Brett Merkel. 4, Oaklawn Carrot, owned and driven by Jeff Dennis. 5, Crown Time Patriot, owned by Esther Crownover. David Myers will be in the bike. 6, Flashy Message, owned by James Pageon, Patrick Sibler, and Donald Breeze and Frank Todd Jr. 7 is Ralphie, owned by Pauletta McCormick and Keith Haynes. 8, She's a Royal Fitch, owned by Roy Wilson. Roy will be in the sulky. Field of trotters for the fourth, 6 minutes till post. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Crown Time Patriot between horses takes the lead. Hilltopper's Grace along the rail. Up on the far outside, She's a Royal Fitch. Middle of the racetrack, Ralphie. They're down the backside. Followed by Tug Button after that, What a Message. Followed by Oaklawn Carrot. Flashy Message will come from off the trot tonight as the field side wheels to the opening quarter-mile pole. Hilltopper's Grace a length and a half. Trotting up on the outside, She's a Royal Fitch. They're opening up here in 28 and 2. Trotters in parade past the stands. Hilltopper's Grace driving up on the outside. She's a Royal Fitch. Benefiting from the speed, doing third. Crown Time Patriot. Underway, Tug Button. Ralphie gets caught in fifth. What a Message has got some work to do as the 4 to 5 favorite. Oaklawn Carrot and Flashy Message, a slugfest in here. No holds barred through the paddock turn. Hilltopper's Grace. She's a Royal Fitch going the long mile. Look for the closers now in 58 and 2. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Hilltopper's Grace draws off by 2 lengths. Hilltopper's Grace continues to lead the way. Crown Time Patriot slips into second. Tug Button 3 wide on the far outside third. What a Message far outside, giving way. She's a Royal Fitch. Ralphie looks for the Norton Journey. After that, Oaklawn Carrot far outside. Flashy Message. Racing by 3/4, Jody ESSIG is absolutely flying with the 4 to 5 choice. What a Message in 1:28. Around the far turn, What a Message on the outside now gets the lead. Fighting back gamely along the rail, Hilltopper's Grace. Tug Button is in the center. Crown Time Patriot waits for the passing lane. Trotting through the stretch. What a Message. Here comes Crown Time Patriot with a rush. What a Message in Crown Time Patriot. What a Message is going to hold. Here comes the unofficial winner number 1, What a Message. 4-year-old bay gelding by Carry the Message out of Whirling Success. Owned in Miamisburg by Cecil Brennan. Trained by Joe ESSIG. Driven by Jody ESSIG. Covering the mile in 157 and 4 and a lifetime best. 1, What a Message, the unofficial winner. at 8:59. One, Miss Hattie. 2, Sand Signals, owned by Richard Householder, driven by Bob Harper. 3, FD Darkside, owned by Burke Lyons and William Townsend, driven by Burke Lyons. 4, Max H. Dennis, owned by Jeff and Ethel Dennis. Jeff Dennis will be aboard. 5, Hills HONOR-ILIAD, owned and driven by Justin Hall. 6, Call Me Chris, owned by Ken Summer and David Miller. 7 is Bone Road, owned by Bill Ferris with Dave Hawk. Here comes the 8, Shiv, owned by Tom Blankenship and Ralph Sturr Jr., driven by Brad Hanners. 9, Blazing Exchange, owned by Robert Lee Marshall and Al Jones. 10, Mighty Cyrus, owned by Ronald Brumbaugh. Make that Jeff out in the sulky. Oh. They're off and trotting. Shiv on the far outside takes the lead. 5 is a little bit rough in the center. Hills HONOR-ILIAD, the 5, is on a break. They're down the backstretch. Shiv trotting smartly, quickly opens up 3 lengths to the turn. Sand Signals moves in to be second. After that, Max H. Dennis in 4th. Bone Road to the outside 4th as they make their way to the first turn. FD Darkside after that to 10, Mighty Cyrus. 2 more lengths to the favorite, Call Me Chris. After that comes Blazing Comet, and the trailer is Hills HONOR-ILIAD. Opening up here, 29 and 3. They're off that top turn and trotting past the stands. Shiv leads the way easily right now. Jumping off stride further back in the field, that was the 3, FD Darkside. No hurry right now. Around the clubhouse turn, Shiv is on top. Call Me Chris moves up on the outside. Moving out from between horses, Max H. Dennis. We're back on the front end as there's action brewing in a slow second quarter. They move to the half-mile pole. Shiv trying to make every pole. Anyone should have plenty left. They're at the half in a soft 102 and 2. Out of the turn and down the backstretch, Shiv continues to lead. Max H. Dennis, the attacker on the rim, second. Sand Signals fighting back in the pocket, third. Bone Road on the outside, fourth. Mighty Cyrus giving the pylons in fifth. Followed by Call Me Chris on the outside, FD Darkside, Hills HONOR-ILIAD. Nothing from Blazing Exchange. Shiv trying to make every pole. Winning one, whacks this one up. Trotting by 3/4 in 132. Moving around the far turn in the first half of the twin trifecta. This one's got chalk written all over it. Shiv continues to lead the way. Still game on the outside, Max H. Dennis. Call Me Chris up on the outside. The spoiler is Bone Road. They're into the stretch. Shiv brings them home. Shiv on top. Bone Road, the passing lane. Max H. Dennis, Call Me Chris, trotting a storm on the far outside. Shiv, Max H. Dennis, and Call Me Chris. Max H. Dennis gets up. Off stride, violation of the braking rule. The original second place finisher has been disqualified from second and place third. Final leg of the pick 3, Stallions and Geldings, non-winners of 2. Number 1 is Big Town Dust, owned by William Elza, driven by Jody Essig. 2, Mingo Road, owned by John Winter, Joan and James Stanley, driven by Doug Routsong. 3, He a Lucky Star, owned by Leonard Buckner and Jeff Fout. Number 4, Come On Speedy, owned by Saul Norflis with Brad Henners. 5, Lucy Rocket, owned by Al Masulo and Ken Kirk, Bob Harper. 6, BJ Deere, owned by John Wally and the bike David Miller. 7, Look Maynard, owned by Maynard Hagemeyer and Kathy Smith, driven by Jeff Smith. 8 is Pack a Punch, owned by Edwin Cook, driven by Richard Cook. Number 9, Scrappy Yeti, owned by Walter Kaplinger with Dave Hawk. 10, Look There, owned by driver Perry Lambert and Alice Kidd. Field for the 6th, post time in 6 minutes. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. He, a Lucky Star, takes the lead. Late Lever, Come On Speedy, middle of the racetrack. Lucy Rocket, War down the backstretch. Along the rail, Big Town Dust looking for a seat on the far outside. The Hawkman and Scrappy Eddie, their 3 horses across the track, vying for command. After that, Mingo Road moves into B6, racing on the turn. Look Maynard 7th after that. BJ Deer to 8th. Followed by Pack a Punch in 9th. Look there, the trailer 27 and 4. Speeding past the stands to the half-mile pole. Come On Speedy, living up to his name, has got the top. He'll be tough to collar from here. Lucy Rocket can't go on. He, a Lucky Star, skimming the pylons in 3rd. Up on the outside, parked every step. Scrappy Eddie to 4th. Big Town Dust, nowhere to go in between horses. Comes Mingo Road, driving up on the far outside. Look Maynard, action galore here. They're at the half. Saving ground, BJ Deer, 8th, 9th, Pack a Punch, and at the end, its trailer is Look There. And they're at the half-mile pole in a sharp 57 and 3. Down the back stretch to 3/4. Come On Speedy, bouncing along. Scrappy Eddie, parked every step, comes to the outside. Giving way after a tough journey, Lucy Rocket. Saving ground along the rail, He, a Lucky Star. After that, Big Town Dust on the far outside. Look Maynard. This one is absolutely wide open. Charging by 3/4 and 127. Around the far turn, Come On Speedy puts away Scrappy Eddie McKinney, put away Look Maynard. Look Maynard driving wide and hard now, gets the lead. Mingo Road swings to the outside. Pack a Punch is doing just that. They're inside the final 16th. Jeff Smith goes to work on Look Maynard right alongside Mingo Road. Mingo Road, Look Maynard inching clear at the end. Result of the 6th is now official. In the winner's circle is Look Maynard. 3-year-old black gelding by Look Sharp out of Joey Mont. Owned by Maynard Hagemar and Kathy Smith of Clarksville and Washington Courthouse. Driven and trained by Jeff Smith. Covering that mile here in 156 and 1 to establish a lifetime best. Number 7, Look Maynard, the winner. The exacta returns $99.40, $99.40. Pick 3 on 1, 4, and 7, $82.80. The trifecta, $368.20, $368.20. Tonight's 7th race, scratch number 6. Brash and Sassy, scratch 6, Brash and Sassy. Here's a field for the 7th race. A lot of tickets out on the Twin Trifecta Exchange. 1 tin type, owned by Barry Conrad, driven by Jody ESSIG. 2 is the Queen of Tucson, owned by Janice Stryker and Chip Noble. 3 is 46 Logs, owned by Robert Allman and the Allman brothers, Ben and Kathy Smith and Jeff Smith. 4 Win My Love, owned by Gary Biederman and John Fike, driven by Brad Hanners. 5 is White Creek Sam, owned by the White Creek Stable, driven by Dave Hawk. 6 is Scratched. 7 Hill to Highlight, over the Highlight Stable. Ron Ridenauer, Brian Brown, and Bob Runzer, driven by Jeff Fout. Number 8 is Gypsy Return, owned by Jeff Cox, Walter Shepner, Dave Miller. 9 Nuclear Rhythm, owned by William Holly and Bob Harper. 10 Fledger Dede, owned by Ronald Jackson. Pete Sturry will be in the sulky. Now in motion, and there they go. They're off and pacing. 46 Logs takes the lead, tin type on the rail. There goes Win My Love, driving up on the outside. Hill to Highlight is on the move on the far outside. 4th, she's going to roll right to command as they make their way to the turn. Queen of Tucson moves in to be 5th as the 1 is a little bit rough on the outside and is going to try to settle in the stride and does. Nice job by Jody ESSIG to keep this filly on gate as they move by the opening quarter-mile pole in 28 and 3. Seating arrangements are complete. Driving past the stands to the half-mile pole. Hill to Highlight, short-lived lead. Win My Love is back on the attack. Win My Love now takes over. Win My Love a length and a half. Hill to Highlight second. The Roan is into third, 46 Logs. The Big Filly Tin Type is fourth. Queen of Tucson starts the train. Here comes Gypsy Return, moving up on the outside as they make their way through the clubhouse turn. Flutter DD starting up on the far outside. Nuclear Rhythm, and at the end it's White Creek Sam, and they're at the half-mile pole in 1 minute and 2/5. Side by side and stride for stride down the backstretch. Win My Love, the even money favorite, is gliding along. Back on the attack, Hilda Highlight second, Queen of Tucson. Swings up on the outside, 46 Logs is next. Moving up steadily, Live Cover, Gypsy Return to fifth. As they move off the 5/8, head to 3/4. From the far outside, Nuclear Rhythm along the rail, Flutter DD and Tin Type. And at the end, it's White Creek Sam by 3/4 in 1:30-1. Moving around the far turn, still in command, it's Win My Love. Win My Love, Hilda Highlight second. Queen of Tucson is dropping back. 46 Logs is on the rail. They're into the stretch. Bouncing right along, Win My Love. Doing her best in second, Hilda Highlight. Driving up on the far outside, Gypsy Return. It's Win My Love, Gypsy Return, and tight for third. 7, Hilda Highlight over 10, Flutter DD. Johnston and Calvin Lamb, driven by Dave Hawk. 2, Silky Prize, owned by Ewell Binkley, driven by Del S. Miller. 3 is Robo Express, owned by Robert Short and Ron Hughes. Reinsman is Jeff Fout. Number 4, JL Dustio, owned by Doug Pfeiffer and JL Hall, driven by David Myers. 5, Crown Time Boulder, owned by Esther Crownover. Brad Hanner's in the bike. 6 is Damar's Peregrine, owned by Mark Perrin and David Ram, driven by Jody Essig. 7 is Dance Director, owned by Dale Strasbaugh and Justin Hall. Number 8 is Pacemaster, owned by Ken Briggs and Jack Morgan. 9, He's Been Bad, owned by Josephine Campbell and David Miller. Number 10 is Almost Ready, owned by David Niggemeyer. Darren Mauser will be in the sulky field for the 8th. They'll reach the gate in 5 minutes. Now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Dance Director on the far outside between horses Robo Express and Ohio Dare along the rail. He's Been Bad moves up on the far outside looking for a seat. Silky Prize might let them in. They're on their way to the turn. JL Dustio, the late lever, Crown Time Boulder out of the second tier, Almost Ready. Followed by the newcomer Damar's Peregrine, and at the end, Pacemaster is the trailer. They're by the opening quarter-mile pole. Ohio Dare has got the top a quick 27-3. Field for 8 drives past the stands. First leg of the pick 3. The early pace setter is still Ohio Dare. Robo Express is second. Dance Director, the Fred Astaire Journey up on the outside. Followed by He's Been Bad, who got away fourth. After that, Silky Prize in fifth. Here comes Crown Time Boulder driving up on the outside, 6th. Around the clubhouse turn. Here comes Almost Ready, moving up on the outside from the second tier. JL Dustio is 8th, followed by Damar's Peregrine in 9th. Pacemaster rides the tailgate in 59 down the backstretch. Still in command, he's been there every step of the way, Ohio Dare. Dance Director, game on the outside, 2nd. Crown Time Boulder is now ready to move 3 wide off cover. Toward the rail, Robo Express as they drive to 3/4. Whips are out now on the pace setters. Crown Time Boulder and Ohio Dare. Crown Time Boulder rocks to the lead in 1:27-4. Moving around the far turn. Crown Time Boulder easily goes on by Ohio Dare. He's Been Bad as the danger up on the outside. Robo Express to the middle of the racetrack. Off the turn in the stretch, and they're on their way home. Still in command, 3 parts of the length and under a left-handed whip, Crown Time Boulder. Here's He's Been Bad, trying to wear him down on the outside. Crown Time Boulder, He's Been Bad is getting up. Was 3rd, finishing 4th, and here was 2, Silky Prize. Here's Dave Miller and He's Been Bad, a 3-year-old bay gelding by B.J. Scoot out of Joanne Almahurst. Owned by Josephine Campbell of Plain City, trained by Leonard Eplin. Driven tonight by David Miller, covering the mile in 1:57 and a lifetime best. Number 9, He's Been Bad, the winner of tonight's 8th race. Exacta 26.80, $26.80. The try 158.40, 158.40. The windows are now up and on tonight's 9th race. Tomorrow's Peregrine was 5th. Dance Director 10th, Pacemaster 7th. He's been bad. Here's a field for the 9th. 1 Henry's Manor, owned by Bruce and Mary Jean Walls. David Myers drives. 2 Mercer Lane, Lil Guy, owned by Derek Peterman with Dave Hawk. Number 3, Bam Bam and Pebbles, owned by David Franklin with David Miller. 4, Come On Tiger, owned by Suzanne Norfless and Jerry Summers. Ryan Holton will be aboard. 5 is Magellan Hanover, owned by the Brooks Ends Ones Racing Incorporated. Jody Essig in the bike. 6, Straven, owned by Roy Murphy, driven by Darren Mauser. 7, Moonlight Rudy, owned by J.D. Burnett and Arnold Sabin Estate with Chip Noble. 8 is Yosemite Sam, owned by Ken Roebuck, Randy and Marilyn Leopard with Brad Hanners. 9 is Jersey Breeze, owned by Chester All. Jeff Fout is in the sulky. Field is now in motion, and there they go. They're off in pacing. Henry's Manor takes the lead. Straven between horses. Mercer Lane, Lil Guy. Rushing up on the far outside, Jersey Breeze. This is war here to the first turn. They're down the back stretch. Here comes Bam Bam and Pebbles riding along the pylons 5th. After that, Come On Tiger, Magellan Hanover, Moonlight Rudy, and Yosemite Sam. They're on their way to the quarter-mile pole. Henry's Manor and David Myers get the quarter-mile pole call in 27-3. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Henry's Manor is there by a length. Driving up on the outside, Straven to 2nd. Mercer Lane, Lil Guy 3rd. Bam Bam and Pebbles now swing to the outside. Getting caught in along the rail, Jersey Breeze. He'll have to blow from 5th. Moving up on the outside, Come On Tiger. Tipping and rolling. Here's Magellan Hanover. Moonlight Rudy and Yosemite Sam. They're hub-to-hub at the half-mile pole in 58.7-1. Straightening out for their long journey down the backstretch. Henry's Manor trying to make every pole winning one has got the lead. Straven right alongside in 2nd. Bam Bam and Pebbles have the most kick on the outside 3rd. Mercer Lane, Lil Guy is 4th. Closing up on the outside, Come On Tiger to 5th. Magellan Hanover trying to close from 80 days around the world. After that comes Jersey Breeze. In between horses, Yosemite Sam and Rudy by 3/4 and a quick 126-4. Field moves to the head of the stretch. Henry's Manor continues to lead the way. Magellan Hanover is on the extreme outside of High Street. They're fanned out 9 wide in the drive. Magellan Hanover from worst to first. Come On Tiger, Bam Bam and Pebbles along the rail. Mercer Lane, Lil Guy, 2-horse driving, photo finish. Magellan Hanover gets up. Three-year-old Brown Colt by Big Towner out of Magdala, Hanover. On in Westerville by the Brook Ends One Racing Incorporated. Trained by Bill Walters, given a well-judged drive by Jody Essig. Covering them out in 156 in a lifetime best. 5, Magellan Hanover, the unofficial winner. Double tonight for Jody Essig. Try 163.60. 5-4-7 try, owned by Tim Mensch, driven by Dave Hawk. 2, Governor Sammy, owned by Paul Simpson and Del S. Miller. 3, Mountain Alvin, owned by Rhonda Stidham, Troy Stidham, and Dave Seville and the Chipmunks, driven by Rocky Stidham. 4, Laser Revrac, owned by Steve Hodge. Darren Mauser will be aboard. 5, Class Con, owned by James Taylor, Carly Simon, and Jonathan Edwards with Brad Hanners. 6 is Perfect, owned by Tom Lovely and Jeff Fout. Number 7 is Shockham Norm, owned by Richard Alexander and David Miller. Number 8 is Shannon Post Time, owned by Deborah Smith with Dean Collins. 9, Sims Alabim Bada Bing Bada Boom, owned by Ernie Martin and Scott Mogan. Number 10, Noble Design, owned by Tim Humrick and Tanya Ledford. Jody ESSIG will be in the sulky. Motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing on location, takes the lead. Rushing up on the far outside, Shannon Post Time. Quickly coming in the middle of the racetrack, Class Con. 3 horses across the track, vying for command. Mountain Elvin away a snug 4th. On the turn, Governor Sammy to 5th. Noble Design out of the 2nd tier to 6th. Laser Rev Rack 7th. Perfect is 8th. Shockham Norm is 9th. Sims Alabim 10th on the outside, rolling by the opening quarter in 28 and 2. Moving off that top turn and racing past the stands, Class Con is there with a short-lived lead. On location, who took the late cash, is brushed to the front. On location, leads for Dave Hawk a length and a half. Class Con second, the outer tier is led by Governor-elect Governor Sammy. After that, Mountain Elvin is in the 4th. Driving up on the outside, Noble Design catching the train from 5th. Followed by Shannon Post Time, the early lever. Ranging up on the far outside, Laser Rev Rack, Shockham Norm is gapping. Followed by Spurfict, 9th on the outside, Sims Alabim the tailgate. 57 and 2, Superfect. The Pacers have 3/8 of a mile to pace. On location, facing that strong wind is there, 3 parts of a length. Governor Sammy on his mansion is in the 2nd, followed by Class Con 3rd. Wide and driving, Noble Design 4th, but it's Dave Hawk who gets the 3/4 call with a widening 2-length advantage on location, 127 and 2. Around the far turn to the head of the stretch. On location has command. On location, the Class Con fighting back in their 2nd. Here comes Mountain Elvin driving up on the outside. These 3 guys look like they'll complete the first 3 legs of the Super. On location is all alone. Here is a rocking chair drive. It's on location. Mountain Elvin 2nd. Class Con 3rd. Tight for 4th. The 10, Noble Design. In the winner's circle, Dave Hawk and on location. On location, 8-year-old brown horse by On the Road Again out of Waiting. Owned in Sunbury by C. Tim Mensch, trained by Alex Spence Jr. The honorary equine maintenance engineer is Mr. Newt Thomas, and the winning driver is Dave Hawk. Covering them out here in 157 and 1. Number 1, On Location, the winner. 3 out of 3 in the pick 3, $1,056.